Now that we've warmed up with a nice introduction, let's gain an understanding of how the project lifecycle and project structure looks in Scrum. Motivation is to the limit. The lifecycle starts in the traditional way, with an initiation phase where the project is defined and analyzed. Then, planning occurs, but on a more high level. The team usually performs workshops to understand the scope, define high-level timeline and budget, and build the project team. Here, we need to have a good understanding of what kind of a need the product of the project should satisfy, what future users should be able to do with it, and what technologies will be used. The question of how exactly to achieve this, however, will be answered gradually from when the work starts. And here we have the distinctive part of Scrum, the way the work is executed. As we saw in the introduction, the cross-functional team is running towards the desired destination in short phases. These short phases indicate what we know from Agile as iterations. In Scrum, these phases are called sprints. The sprints represent a fundamental part of a Scrum project lifecycle. Each one is usually between 2 and 4 weeks long and has to deliver a given part of the product. Collectively, all sprints in a project need to deliver the entire product with all desired capabilities. As per the Agile practices, each sprint ends up with a demo session, where the team presents the progress to the customer, allowing them to understand how the particular part of the product functions. Here, the customer may request reworks if the requirements are not covered, or, if needed, request changes to the requirements for the upcoming sprints. As you already know, this characteristic gives the needed flexibility to make modifications or even change the direction of the whole project if it's beneficial towards achieving the goal. Note, however, changes during a sprint are not allowed, only in between them. Before moving to the next sprint, the project team holds a brief session to discuss the lessons learned from a previous sprint. It's called a retrospective, or retro. In this way, the team can immediately catch issues in their way of working and implement the improvements as of the very next sprint, instead of collecting lessons learned only at the end of the project and applying them to the next project. We explained that a certain amount of planning takes place before the sprints start. The knowledge that the team has at the end of it has to cover what the scope or product will be. Before the sprints can start, the scope has to be allocated to the different sprints. This exercise is usually performed between the initial planning and the first sprint and is called Sprint 0. A plan is created, indicating how many tasks per sprint the team is targeting to achieve, which parts of the product to create first, which ones second, etc. Also, this deep dive has to determine how many sprints in total are needed to create the whole product and hence fulfill the scope. By understanding the total number of sprints and knowing their standard duration, this exercise also gives the project overall target completion date. If, for example, we need 5 sprints, each 3 weeks long, the target completion date will be in 15 weeks' time. After the work of the last sprint is completed, a closure phase should always be present at the end. Here, the customer will have to accept the product as a whole, confirming that it will satisfy the need, hence achieve the project goal. As per the established best practices, this is a mandatory step for any project manager before they can officially finalize a project. Great! So far, we have seen how the Scrum structure is in line with the broader Agile one. Let's now move on to the next critical item, scope. See you in the next lesson.